Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight here on Team Fortress TV. My name is the BILLDOZER, and you're here to see the Week 2 match of RGL, froyotech versus King's Crew. Joining me tonight is Paddie, Invite veteran and a former member of both of these teams. How are you doing tonight, Paddie?
Pretty good myself, Bill. I'm really looking forward to this match. It's going to be hopefully close, but that kind of depends on a lot of different variables with both of these teams, especially the Kings Crew guys.
One important variable coming into this is that the last match that froyotech played, they lost. Bit of an upset. Excited to see how they can come back from this. What are you expecting to see tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty classic Froyo staple to just sort of, early on in the season to sort of slack things off and not really play to the best of their ability. And I do think Froyo is going to come into this match much stronger than they did against 100B last week. So, yeah, I think in my honest opinion, it's going to be a tough go for King's Crew, but there is an opportunity for probably a few upset rounds here and there from them as long as they play their cards right.
And we hope that they do. It's always good to see a fun match. Gonna go over the rosters real quick while we're waiting for this match to get started. If you don't mind, I'm gonna start with the Froyo players, all of whom everybody should be pretty familiar with right now. However, the newest member of the team is Cookie Jake, joining on Medic. You've got the classic Habib demo, the Blaze and Yomps Soldier combo, and then finally we have Banny and Eric on Scout. Patty, why don't you name off the King's Crew roster for us?
Yeah, on King's Crew we got Yosh and Sandblast on Scout, Yosh on Flank Scout, Sandblast on Combo Scout. We have Jarrett on Demo Man, Triple Mint on Roamer, Psy on Pocket, and Bear on Medic. Not a bad roster by any means, so I'm looking forward to how this game will go.
Yeah, everybody in this server has been around for a while. They're relatively established players. However, we're going to need to see some standout performances if you want to see Froyo getting taken down again. But it seems like we are going to go live now. We can possibly talk about players to watch going forward. We're going to follow Habib here on this first mid, if that's okay. As he seems to be taking the upper route, going to be going straight through choke. And players are going to take their places here on this midpoint. Habib shooting towards big door, stifling King's Crew with a lot of damage. Looks like Bear is very late to get out as the Froyo player is just pushing straight through choke into the red big door. And it is an absolute massacre in favor of Froyotech. Trip going down in the blue choke. And then finally, Psy and Jarrett are going to get cleaned up. And that's an easy mid-win for Froyotech.
What a wipe there. Yeah. I mean, Habib just got that early pressure and really slowed down the Medic climb from Bear there. So it was really just already from the very beginning of the middle, King's Crew was just on the back foot. Like from the very start, Habib just out-pressured Bear, and they had more heals to start with on the Froyo side there. So, I mean, there's not a lot you can do unless you counter-address there with your own pressure on the Cookie Jake, but they didn't. So here we go, going into the last push here from Froyo.
Yeah, and we're going to see a strong defensive setup from King's Crew as they have both the sniper and the pyro, both soldiers trying to shoot at this river area. As Froyo's going to Uber in, bringing in a scout and Habib. Going to take down both the pyro and the sentry pretty easily, not putting up much of a fight. Trip goes down. Cookie Jake actually goes down. This could get a little bit better for King's Crew as they're able to clean up Habib as well. Blaze gets out river. Banny goes down to a Jarrett pipe. And finally, Eric goes down on last. That's a Froyo wipe. Excuse me. That's, yeah. So that went surprisingly well when Cookie Jake went down, and I'm glad to see that King's Crew were able to clean that up a little bit.
Yeah, they did a really good job of holding the last there. I mean, from what I've seen of their scrims, they are pretty good at just working the off classes into last and just recollapsing on teams that Uber in. And they're here right now with a full Uber at. It looks like they're going in a big door here. Maybe a Jarrett bomb, yeah, it goes, but Sandblast gets dropped. Jarrett in deep right now, very low HP, but this Uber is just not accomplishing very much. A Blaze kill, and oh my god, the Froyo collapse is just unbelievable there. Just completely punishing King's Crew there for just overextending after the sandblast pick goes off.
I could appreciate what King's Crew was trying to do with that Jarrett bomb. I like it. But with Sandblast going down immediately, it meant that there wasn't really any follow-up damage to speak of once Jarrett got up onto the point. And then nobody else from King's Crew was able to get up onto there either. And at that point, there was just nothing that could really be done. And now we're going to see Cookie Jake getting his Uber 75% advantage, trying to push back into this last. We're going to see that river push again with the scout, with Habib, going to take down the sentry easily. And as long as they can clear this point, things should probably go a bit smoother for them. However, Banny goes down, Jared and Yosh have gone down, Cookie Jake goes down again. And the health on froyotech is terrible, and we might see another successful hold here.
Yeah, again, Kingster with the really solid last hold. Again, I just want to point out that Sai has been alive at the end of both of these last holds, and I think he's probably a very key component into them holding these last, just with his raw DM power that he usually brings to the table. And yeah, they're going to be pushing out on this again, full, pretty much full ad here for King's Crew. So it's interesting to see how they'll take it. But Froyo is challenging the second point, so
oh my gosh. Yomps just got destroyed over on the balcony area, and Blaze goes in as well trying to get that bomb. Both soldiers are down for Froyo, however both scouts are down for King's Crew. I think at the end of the day, it's a strong advantage towards King's Crew. They're going to try and push through this choke. They haven't gotten second yet. However, without any scouts, it's not something that can happen too urgently. But it looks like they're going to be able to take this, and we're probably going to see things slow down a little bit here on the choke. Oh, Froyo's just pushing back in. I stand corrected as we get a Habib bomb along with a Yomps bomb, trying to push the entirety of King's Crew out of second, and we're going to see Froyo trying to push back in here with about a 50% advantage.
yeah, King's Crew just kind of gave that up really clean there. I mean, I don't really agree with that play on a personal note, but I guess they're going for the safe route, getting the gun set up, just holding last. And here comes the Uber going in. Bomb onto the gun, Pyro and gun both down with the same bomb. Bear is really low here at 80% charge, and it just everything's crumbling around the King's Crew right now, and Freyo just gets the round off of that. Wow, what a push.
Yeah, and again, we saw the scouts going down very early for King's Crew, and that kind of kept them from getting the follow-up damage onto Froyo that they needed. So we're going into the second mid here. I'm going to follow Jarrett, going similar route to Habib. And they're now both going to be spamming the big door. However, we see the double bomb coming out of Froyo, immediately getting onto Jarrett and taking him out. And that's going to have Froyo immediately with control of the midpoint and pushing King's Crew out of it. Not much of a fight to speak of.
Yeah, that was just raw and pure aggression from the Froyo soldiers. I mean, that's what they're renowned for, honestly speaking. And as I say this, Froyo, with the raw disrespect right now, just pushing into last before they even get to second cap, exerting pressure, but inevitably they're going to get pushed out here. And thankfully for the King's Crew team, they did get their medic out, and it is even Ubers, but that middle was just disastrous for Jarrett there. He's going to need to change his gameplay up, most likely play in a more defensive manner, anticipating those kinds of maneuvers from Froyo.
Yeah, we are looking like there may be a Blaze peak in this river. We do have both Ubers up once again. Bear managed to save himself from that mid. So we're going to try and see how froyotech wants to attack this. The initiative is on their side. We do see Blaze holding river. We don't know if he's going to go anywhere with that or if it's just him holding. Blaze is going down into water, and we may see him try something here in a second. However, we just have the Froyo combo looking to hold river as well. They may just want to push in off of this. And Blaze goes in, gets one rocket onto Bear. Bear manages to pop, and that's just a wasted Uber. Froyo manages to get out with just 2 losses down, but that's really nothing compared to having a full Uber charge.
Yeah, that's probably the most classic gully wash play that Froyo tends to go for. They tend to exert pressure onto the river side there and get Blaze in the water. And then once Blaze is in the water, the defending team tends to panic, and then Blaze just gets onto the point, gets point pressure, everybody drops off to the point, and Blaze jumps the medic in the chaos. It's a very classic Froyo sack, and here they come with their Uber looking like into river here. They're planning it out. Banny's getting the info. Blaze going to water, Habib in, and yeah, it looks like Yomps in, Habib getting the gun down, Yomps pressuring in on the medic. No picks so far for either team. Bear goes down, Habib with the trade there. and it's just absolute chaos right now. But Froyo's getting the best of them, but it is not completely out of the picture for... Oh, and it is. And that's a round for Froyo.
There's one thing I noticed on this last hold is that Kingscrew didn't get their sentry up until Blaze had sacked in and the Uber had been popped. If he had gotten that sentry up a little earlier, then they may have been able to keep Blaze from getting too much damage onto Bear. Just one little thing that I noticed. I don't know who we're following this time. I guess we're following Jarrett again. As
Sniper mid out of Kingscrew, by the way.
Oh, thank you for pointing that out. Because we do have Yomps and Sniper getting an immediate pick onto Yomps. Oh my gosh. And that's going to push froyotech out relatively soon. Oh, they're caught in this elbow area, which could be either good or bad. It's a little difficult to get damage onto that. However, you do have everyone corralled into one spot. Banny and Eric are actually starting to clean this up, and what looked like a pretty decent position for Kingscrew is turning out to be froyotech, showing that they are still froyotech.
Of course, of course. I mean, the sniper was a really interesting play, and I actually, I really liked that they tried for it, but it just seemed like Froyo, I mean, from my time on Froyo, we've been around. They've been around. They've dealt with snipers in the past. Yomps and Blaze know exactly what to do, and that's just exert a lot of pressure and aggression when there's a sniper in the mix, and just overwhelm the other team. And so that's pretty much exactly what they did. But it is even Ubers. Bear has done a very good job this entire match of just getting out when you know, stuff hits the fan.
Yeah, I agree. It's been pretty great that he's been able to stay alive. I saw him getting chased by a scout earlier on this last minute. As froyotech is going to try and come in through big door, just mashing 5 players, and while we have Habib trying to push through this choke. Looks like they're not really finding the opportunity that they're looking for. They're probably going to get healed up and possibly going again. Possibly right now, we see 2 players in the red lobby. Cookie Jake and Yomps trying to find their way in. Not working out super well. We have these 2 flank players, Eric and Blaze specifically, and they're trying to create an opening for Froyo by hanging around in the back, trying to peek out this balcony and seeing where they can try and get in and possibly force this Uber out of Bear.
Yeah, this is a really staple play from Froyo once again. Kingscrew is playing it well though, and really what they're doing here is they're letting Froyo have the control of lobby and upper river, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter in terms of cap time. But here comes Eric and Blaze with the double sack, and I think we have a pod. Oh, a leg maybe. Just leg.
A bit awkward.
The Uber goes off.
I don't know how much that affected the game, or if it was just on our end.
Yeah, hopefully it was just on our end, yeah. But again, Froyo's with ad here. They are down 2, so it does give Kingscrew time to build some advantage. Ideally here in this situation, they want to set up for some aggressive pressure and spam so they can get the early force from Froyo and play into a leapfrog. But let's see how they play it out here.
Yeah, Sai is holding in this upper area while we have Jarrett trying to spam this choke. Trip goes in now on a bomb. They were putting some pretty good pressure on that choke point, but now you're going to see them all back out. Possibly Jared going down. He does get the health pack, and we're going to see a majority of Kingscrew. Excuse me. He does go down at the end there. The majority of Kingscrew is going to get out river with froyotech in hot pursuit as they try to see if Kingscrew can put together some sort of last hold.
Yeah, Uber coming in here from Bear, but just so many players down, and it's basically an even trade in terms of Uber seconds here. So it's going to look like Froyo's going to take this away pretty much cleanly. And yeah, that's a 3-0 half for froyotech.
All right, I don't know how long halftime lasts on this in this league, as opposed to ESCA when it was really quite long. So we will see how much time we have. But I think maybe we have a second to look at some logs and see who's putting up the big boy numbers and who needs to... Oh, that didn't work. In any case, who have you been seeing standing out here, and who have you been seeing maybe needing to tighten their belt a bit and stand out?
Yeah, well, in terms of the standing out, I mean, Froyo as a whole has just been... They're playing really, really, really solid on this map. I mean, Habib is just kind of like... When it comes to goalie wash, Habib just absolutely obliterates anything that comes in his direction. That's just what he does. on this map.
Lou, you got the wrong logs up.
And
there it is.
And I mean, I just feel like King's Crew as a team are not on the mid fights. They're just not exerting a similar amount of pressure that Froyo is. Like Froyo is just double bombing in, forcing Bear to just play so conservative, climbing up the slope there into the elbow. Whereas King's Crew are kind of just letting Froyo do whatever they please on the mid fights. I mean, this is, for the most part, this is a game of mid fights right now, is what I'm watching. It's a game of Froyo's winning every mid fight, getting into last, getting clean pushes, you know. And King's Crew is just constantly on the back foot. If King's Crew really wants to start making a recovery here, which ideally they should, they're gonna need to start changing up the way they approach a mid fights.
No, I can agree with that. It's been, I think conservative is a great word for it, because froyotech is the one who's being so proactive on these mids. They're making stuff happen. And when it comes to Gully Wash mid, you know, it's very narrow. It's very, you know, there's not a lot of places to hide. So you need to really be able to put yourself out there and try and make things happen before the opposing team can.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I mean, you know, if I was King's Crew right now, what I would probably recommend them to do is just counter-aggress. A lot of teams fall into this bad habit of just, when a team is really aggressive on you and you're dealing with a lot of pressure, you try to directly counter what they're doing, sort of a man-to-man defense, so to speak. But when you're dealing with this kind of offense from Froyo, the only real way to sort of deal with it is to just give them the same amount of aggression they're giving you. And you want to spread players like Banny and Eric real thin with dealing with soldier aggression. And I really think that's what they ought to be doing. But we'll have to see if that's how they approach this in the next half.
Yeah, I think a big thing that's been causing these difficulties is that Froyo isn't really King's Crew isn't really getting any counter picks to speak of on these mids. So they're backing out too early and they don't really have anything to show for it. And then Cookie Jake just walks in with full Uber. However, when they have to hold last, it was going pretty all right for them at first. When they get comfortable, which, you know, is kind of the point, froyotech wants to keep them on the back foot and they want to keep them from doing their specific game plans that they worked out. However, things go relatively well for them when they take fights on their terms. So this is going to sound crazy, but I think that King's Crew should do more to try and make fights happen on their terms.
100%, I agree with that. Totally. I mean, Froyo is just a team that thrives in their comfort zone. When they're in their comfort zone, they're never going to let up, and they're never going to just make any mistakes at all, really. Like, when they're in their comfort zone. So the key to really just, you know, taking Froyo out of the game, as I'm sure 100B did last week, is really just to take them out of their comfort zone. Make them play in a manner that's not comfortable to them. And King's Crew really needs to do that. Otherwise, realistically, this is going to be a wash. The next half might go very quick.
So here's the question, Paddie. How do you make a team uncomfortable when they've been together for like 10 seasons or whatever?
Well, my method has always been, in my experience, raw aggression. If a team is playing super aggressive and taking the flow and control of the game, you really just want to out-aggress them in a manner where they're the ones who are reacting to you. You want to make Froyo react to you, not you react to them, basically. That's the way I would go about it. And it looks like we're going live here, so
yeah, that's exactly right. So what I'd like to do, speaking of trying to up their aggression, let's follow Trip here on this mid. You know, he's the roamer for King's Crew. He's going to be the one who kind of makes things happen, in a sense, for them. Or doesn't make things happen, as we've been seeing. So Habib is taking his upper spot, as we see Trip immediately going in, getting a little bit of damage onto a Froyo scout, but altogether not doing a whole lot. We have Jared, and what is this rotation? All of King's Crew coming towards choke, but they haven't... Okay, Jared did go down, but their health isn't that bad. and they're just trying to prolong this fight a bit. We have one bomb coming in from Sai, managing to get a little bit of damage onto Habib, but altogether not a whole lot happened there.
Yeah, very strange mid from King's Crew. I mean, that started off pretty strong for them. I mean, Trip got a lot of space and aggression out of there, kept Banny occupied, and it just seemed like most of the King's Crew combo just didn't want to commit to whatever was happening on mid, and they rotated through choke. A very unusual decision for a team on a goalie wash mid.
I don't know about froyotech, but that certainly took me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So we see the Froyo combo coming in towards water, looking to make this classic push. King's Crew has kind of mixed up their positioning of their defensive classes, but the sentry gun's already down, so it really doesn't make a difference. We're going to see if they try and do anything here. Eric is down. We might see him... I don't want to say we're going to see him off class because this match is going way too fast. All the initiative is in froyotech's court. However, we do have the Sandblast Sniper, so maybe he can look for an opportunity. Yamps is just standing in here. I don't know what that's about.
Froyo is just allowed to do whatever they want right now. King's Crew is not doing a very good job of holding any doorways whatsoever. Look at Froyo just inch by inch really walk in and just pressure the King's Crew players and get a free force here. But it's not all lost for King's Crew. They do have 2 picks right now. There is a possibility of getting a free force if they maneuver fast enough, but the question is, will they, or will they just let it slide?
Well, if they're going to try and make something happen, then they might have just missed their window of opportunity. Both Eric and Banny are up, and King's Crew elected to just go back and hold. We have Yosh setting up that sentry gun again. Don't have a pyro from the looks of it. We have this spam coming across from water. Blaze going down into water as we have the Uber coming in. Habib taking out that sentry gun immediately. He's now sticking up the last point of King's Crew. Time getting on point. This fight's getting a little prolonged, but the King's Crew health is so terrible. I imagine this is going to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
As you see it here.
And that's 4-0 so far. King's Crew not finding any options really in terms of trying to counter them, but this next mid is going to be decisive with Yosh on the sniper rolling out, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Absolutely. And let's watch Yosh here on the mid. So he's going to see if he can't... No, they're holding real conservatively. Double soldier bomb immediately up onto the upper area. Habib goes down, actually, to Jared. We're seeing some low health on Eric. If they can get him here, this could suddenly become pretty good for King's Crew. This is a very skeletal, scrappy mid-fight. We do see Blaze going down, Yamps goes down, and suddenly King's Crew is maybe in a bit better of a position here. It's just
What
Eric.
An incredible shot from Yosh there on Banny. That's just insane. And what a great mid, completely on the back of Yosh, really. And the pressure of Sniper is Habib jumping into Yosh, trying to disrespect him there, but they both have to back down. Uber ad here from Bear, roughly 45%.
Not really as much as Bear probably hopes it was. Yosh is looking big door now, and he manages to get Eric. He's so good. But regardless, it's still kind of a weird spot to push into with a sniper. So we're going to have to see how King's Crew wants to make this happen. And they're kind of doing that Banny, or the froyotech thing, where they're pushing players in through the flank. They're actually taking the whole team in through the flank. And it looks like this is definitely knocking Froyo out of their comfort zone, as they're forcing them to hold. As the Uber comes out, it looks like Cookie Jake is going to have his Uber. What just happened? Okay, everybody went big door. That was so weird.
That was absolute chaos. King's Crew just went into the shutter, went for the trade, and they lost 2. Froyo lost 2, and now here comes the counter Uber from froyotech. Looks like Cookie Jake milking into the choke. King's Crew just giving this up, but that was just absolute chaos. I mean, I like the idea of what King's Crew was doing, but oh my goodness. Oh, Uber coming out here.
Probably not going to find too much with that Uber, as King's Crew is... Wow, okay, I stand corrected. They are chasing till the cows come home. However, it looks like King's Crew is going to be... What is this 1v1 going on? On last. We have Trip fighting Eric, I believe. No, Banny. Now Banny's come... I just heard a headshot. So I stand corrected on that. Sorry, I'm trying to keep track of everything that's going on here. This is certainly a very complex fight as we see King's Crew trying to push back in on mid. Blaze is going to go down to the trip rocket, but we have someone backcapping.
Yeah, I mean,
Eric is just floating around
insane.
back there.
What's happening right now? There's constant flankers behind the King's Crew lines right now. Psy Guy just 1v1s Eric with a shotgun, the shoddy boom body, as I like to say. And Uber ad dwindling for Bear, but they might still push on it. I'm not sure how well they're keeping track of it, but this could blow up in their face if they overextend. But probably Jarrett's calling for a stalemate most likely. He's like, all right, relax, guys. Let's take it easy. Let's stalemate it out. You know, we still got 23 minutes left in the game. We have a lot of
23 minutes is a long time.
Yeah. Even for a 4-0, you can come back from these kinds of situations. You just got to make very marginal mistakes.
Yeah, but you can't come back unless you do things. So what do you think King's Crew's going to need to do?
Well, number one, they're going to need to deal with these flank options that are coming out of Froyo. Yosh taking out Eric. As I say that, and Trip, unbeknownst to him, Blaze is just lurking in lobby, taking him out. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and Froyo just keeps inching the flank right now, just trying to pressure out, but Danny's really isolated. But they just have complete lobby control here. So, oh, Sai walking in. Looks like he wants to take a trade, and it's going to be an even trade here. Sandblast going down, one death on the side of King's Crew, and really nothing happening with this trade, but oh, Blaze going down, and absolute chaos. Sai is getting caught out here at the choke. Bear goes down, and King's Crew is just getting absolutely messed up from players lurking in the lobby there.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty long respawn timer on these three very important classes with the Medic, Demo, and Soldier are going to be coming up around now, which just happens to be when Froyo decides to push in. Habib putting some spam down onto the last point, looking to see who's going to try and get some cap time, as it looks like Froyo are going to decide to back out as those aforementioned heavy classes are going to be spawning up on King's Crew. They're managing to push them out. Both Yamps and Eric are down for froyotech. Sandblast goes down as well, and I think we might see things slow down a little bit. We have about a 30% Uber advantage for froyotech, and they're trying to peek River now, seeing what they can get. However, King's Crew's typical defense strats are going up, and we might see things at least wait until Cookie Jake gets his Uber in about, never mind, 2 seconds.
Yeah, most likely Froyo's going to go for their standardized River Uber here. Jumping in Habib, Yamps coming in on the follow-up. Gun not going down, but Habib's going to clean up that real quick. 1-for-1 trade here, but Bear's really close to his Uber, 99%, 100. Counter pop coming in, Sandblast and Yosh doing what they can to salvage this hold, and they're just on the hunt right now. Yosh going deep, but oh, Yamps with the punish here for that over-aggression. That was real smart play from Yamps there, just lurking in River and waiting for the over-aggression there from the Uber. And that's really just, I mean, that's just what you want to do there with a counter Uber. When you take a trade in like that and the other team counters, you really just want to kind of bake them into that over aggression there where you can collapse with your whole team. And looks like pretty much a full ad here for froyotech. Danny getting the early info, and let's see how this goes.
Yeah, froyotech trying to figure out how they want to take this. As Cookie Jake gets his full Uber, we immediately see froyotech rotate into that river area, and I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't just go straight in. Well, we don't have much of a sentry gun to speak of. Habib jumps in, trying to get the pipe kills on the Bear, which he does get. Sandblast goes down, Trip goes down, Sai goes down, Benny does go down to the Jarrett pipe, Blaze goes down as well. However, Yosh goes down as well, and that's going to be the 5-0 for froyotech.
Wow, what a match.
Yeah, we saw flashes of good things from King's Crew, but overall froyotech was froyotech, and they I will say that they performed in a way that we would expect of them.
Yeah, they really brought it today. I mean, again, it's been historical throughout many Froyo seasons that they'll lose a match early on in the regular season, and then kind of after that they have that bit of a wake up call and are like, all right, we got to practice, we got to set ourselves up so that we don't lose to these guys because we're the number one team in the game for the past, oh my god, I don't know how many years at this point, but
Since the roster formed back in like 2015 or something.
yeah, so
2014.
So really, I mean, this was just Froyo bringing out a strong performance. I don't think King's Crew played particularly, bad or anything like that. I think they played probably their regular skill level, but just Froyo. I'm sure that 100B loss earlier on last week just did not sit well with them, and they're probably bringing their 100%. 120% rather, A game to every scrim and match going forward for the rest of this season. So, I mean, Kings Crew had some promising moments, but if you're not winning mids like they weren't, there's just not a lot you can do. I mean, TF2 is a game of mid fights and last pushes at the end of the day. Everything else in between is important, but not as important, because if you can win every mid fight, then you don't need to worry about everything else in between. So, so Froyo just had a lot stronger mid fights, a lot stronger aggression and pressure, and Kings Crew just didn't really have an answer. Their best answer being Yosh on the sniper, but even that had its flaws, and they just weren't ready for it. But I'm curious to see how Kings Crew will evolve as a team going forward in this season.
Yeah, we got another 6 weeks after this, another 13 matches, and that's a lot of time for a team to grow. You have a real opportunity for some of these players to come into their own, as it were.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, Kings Crew is not a weak roster by any means. They got some strong players on their side, obviously. Former froyotech player, probably one of the best pockets in the game right now. And, I mean, Sandblast has come a long way from, earlier seasons that I knew him in. But, I mean, they just need to figure themselves out. But at the end of the day, it's Froyo you're dealing with. And when you're dealing with Froyo, it's never easy. And you're always under a constant state of pressure. So I cannot blame them for their 5-0 loss here. But I am curious going forward to see how that 100B game comes into play here with the Froyo players.
That's a great point to bring up. So, as the players begin to leave the server, I think we're probably going to wrap it up here for this match. Paddie, do you have anything else that you want to say?
I mean, this is just the best team in the game playing in their comfort zone at their finest. So, yeah, that's about pretty much all I want to say. Is just this is froyotech being froyotech right now. So, I look forward to more of that throughout the season, for sure.
All right. Well, with that, this has been TFTV. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and have a good night.